Hey there, welcome back to Ask Amy. So, I have a question today from Allison. Allison says, first, I want to say how much I appreciate and value your books and your generosity in sharing so many YouTube videos. Thank you. I have a question, she says, about dementia. I'm fairly new to this understanding, but it's made a massive change in my life. With a fully functioning memory, I'm able to slip back into the old outside in way of viewing the world and then wake up and recall my understanding. But what happens when dementia robs us of the ability to remember? With such impaired mental capacity caused by dementia, wouldn't I completely lose touch with all of my invaluable understanding? I know we all have innate well being within, whether we know it or not, but people suffer because they don't see they have it. They don't see it's thinking that gets in the way. An analogy would be a desperate homeless person having $1 million in the bank but never knowing it's there. Dementia is so common now in elderly people, it seems to me that the vital understanding we relish could end up being lost in our final years. I'd love to hear your view on this. Okay, so I love this question. So we have a memory, you have the ability to forget things you've learned and then remember things you've learned. And that's great. You're totally right about that. And people with memory loss perhaps don't have that same ability, right? So you can maybe remember, oh yeah, I learned one time that I'm feeling my thinking, and maybe they learned that at some point along the way and they can't recall that. So I think that's spot on, but I want to suggest something that is a completely different way of seeing this. Your memory has nothing to do with any impact you've had. So yes, we can remember things. We can remember facts and we can remember anything, right? We remember stuff. But that's all in that realm of like just what you can recite, what you can recall. It's all just like language that can come back out. It's all in this intellectual kind of bucket. And Allison, it took me years to really believe this, but when people say that this is not intellectual and that an intellectual understanding or a memory for it doesn't do anything, it's really, really, really true. And it took me forever, forever to really not let that be true, but just to see that it is true. I thought I got it. Like, okay, yeah, it's going in somewhere deeper. It's beyond my intellect. I knew when I first came across this like 13, 14 years ago, I knew I couldn't think my way to peace of mind and all of that. But I was still going to try. I was like, yeah, I get that. That makes sense. But let me keep feeding my intellect and remembering and doing that stuff just to be on the safe side. So, meaning I didn't really see this at all. I didn't really get it at all. I still thought, yeah, intellect's got to have something to do with it. What you can recall and remember, like your homeless person remembering that they have a bank account with $1 million in it, that looked huge. That looked really important. And I can tell you now, it just doesn't do anything. There are many, many people who could write books about this. It is not hard. It is not difficult. It's not complicated conceptually, intellectually, but it does absolutely nothing to be able to write books about this and like just know it backward and forward intellectually if you don't feel it. And so when someone, I want to go to part of what you said. So you say, sorry, with a fully functioning memory, I'm able to slip back into old way of living in the world, then wake up and recall my 3P understanding. Waking up has nothing to do with recall. Now that's our model right now, right? That's how it looks. Our brain-based kind of model of the world is like, oh, it's all about your brain. It's all about what you recall and what you remember and all this cognitive stuff. Waking up, the way we talk about it, zero, 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 zero to do with memory or recall. So you say, what happens when dementia robs us of the ability to remember? Nothing. With such impaired mental capacity, wouldn't I completely lose touch with my invaluable understanding? So I guess this kind of begs the question, like what does give us this? Like, where is this understanding? Where is it? And I'm sure you've heard this before, but really it's like when our thinking, when we aren't so identified with our thinking mind, when our identity shifts, when we see, wow, I am not all of this, something changes. That's when something changes. When we're even in a moment just less identified with it, in a moment. And that doesn't mean it's not there, and it doesn't mean we're remembering that it's thought. We're not remembering anything. There's nothing about memory happening in this instance at all. It's just an experience of thought being there, talking, doing whatever it's doing, and feeling around that, feeling beyond that, knowing this is not all there is. Like we're like this, and all of a sudden our vision widens infinitely. And it's like, oh, this is just life too. This conversation and that memory and this thought, it's all part of the same one big life. It's backing up, and that's a metaphor, but being able to see, get this bigger sense of all of this that has the impact. That's what we're talking about, being less in all of this. Now, I don't know all the science about dementia. Are people with dementia a little less identified with thought or able to be? I would imagine. I mean, there's no reason they can't, because again, it's not something they do. It's not something any of us do. It's not something we do with a fully functioning memory. It has nothing to do with that. You could be remembering and reciting and knowing all the stuff in the world. And again, it's not going to do anything for you until all of that, until you see around all of that. You feel and glimpse what's beyond it. I almost think, and this is not accurate either, but I don't know, I look at my mother-in-law with dementia, and I'm not saying she's the happiest, seems to be the happiest woman on earth, but she's not burdened with a bunch of memories. She's not super identified with what she just did and what she's about to do. She's pretty darn present. How do we know? How do we know what someone's experiencing, you know? So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that dementia is good for this either. I'm just saying, what do we know? It could be better. We don't know. We don't know, because it's not in that intellectual cognitive memory realm. It has nothing to do with that. With the homeless person, you know, having the $1 million in the bank, you're right. They're living in their experience. But in a way, we can take that metaphor a step deeper and say, who cares if you're homeless? Who cares if you have money in the bank and don't know it, or you know it, or whatever? What's really possible for that person, for all humans, is to fall out of all of this garbage, all of this conceptual stuff, just even for a minute. That's what we're talking about. That's what does it for people, not remembering or thinking, you know, remembering the right thing or thinking the right thought at all. It's deeper and bigger and infinitely larger than all of that. I hope this makes sense. Don't think about it too much with your head. It's definitely one we can overthink, but see if you just sort of have a feel for this totally different direction. It doesn't really matter what the machinery is doing. What we're looking toward here is far bigger and far beyond machinery. So thank you so much for sending your question. I love it. It's a great one, and it's cool because it's different, and it kind of gives me an opportunity to talk about this in a slightly different way. So thank you. Anyone who has any questions, send them to AskAmy@thelittleschoolofbigchange.com, and I'll be back here next Monday to answer them. And in the meantime, on Friday, if you haven't seen, I'm having a big launch party for my new book that's coming out, Just a Thought. So join me. I'll put the link somewhere in the comments here so you can join the free launch party. It'll be really fun. Okay. Have a great week, everyone.